Hello there and welcome to today's video. A few years ago I made a little pug for a commissioned piece of work. Don't know whether you can see him actually, there we go. And I really loved him and I've been sat looking at him for a while now in the studio, and I've often thought he'd make a lovely little tutorial for the channel, so I thought it'd be perfect really for Christmas. So let's go see how I make him, but instead of him holding a heart, he's wearing a Christmas hat. So to start, I've got a round piece of beige polymer clay here, and with my medium-sized ball tool I'll pop in a couple of eye sockets. Then I'll add some eyeballs and some pupils with some black polymer clay. You could use whatever colour you fancy though, obviously. And for his muzzle, I've got a teeny tiny fondant cutter here in a heart shape, so I'll just cut that out and turn it upside down and place that on his face. And incidentally, there are a list of the tools that I use pretty frequently down below in description. So I've got a very basic body shape now, so I'll pop in some craft wire like so, and just use a teeny tiny amounts of liquid Fimo, which should allow the pieces to bake better really. It just allows them to, secure better really. So I'll pull those together quite gently. And now I'll move on to his legs. So I've got two round pieces of clay in a very similar size, and it's a case of rolling and just flattening the bottom really. And with my needle tool I'll add in some detail, and with my blade cutting tool I'm going to cut at an angle, and this should allow your legs to wrap around the body a little better really. They should look a little neater like this. So firstly I'll add on some paw details and some little toes, and you should have two paws that look a little like this. So now I can place those onto his body, and once they're in a position that you're happy with, you can just press those in. And with a wet wipe I'm going to go in and just really try and pull that clay together, and it should hopefully make things look a little neater as well. And because it's winter, I'm going to give my pug a little scarf, so I've got some really lovely red glittery clay here in Fimo accents. Sorry, Fimo effects actually, I think it's Sculpey accents, isn't it? And that's also a really nice clay if you're working in Sculpey. So I'll wrap that around his neck. And just really try and pull those pieces together at the back. And I need to make a couple of lengths for the scarf now, so I'm going to go in with my scalpel to create some detail first. And on one of the pieces I'll cut at an angle, and I'm doing this because I want to give the impression that the scarf's going over the scarf underneath really. And the second piece is a lot shorter, and that attaches like so, and that gives the impression that it's coming underneath really. Now for his paws, I'm going to do very similar work really as I did with his feet, so I'll just add in some detail with my needle tool, and I'm going to cut at an angle again with my blade cutting tool, and I'm doing this because it should add to the body a bit better really. And of course you can position your arms in any fashion that you like, but I eventually settled on one paw on his cheek, so he looks like he's kind of a bit confused by something. Perhaps he hasn't written his Christmas list yet. So I'll just neaten things at the back with a wet wipe again. And for his ear, I've got another piece of the heart-shaped clay. Really easy. And of course he'd need two usually, but he's going to be wearing a Christmas hat, so with the same red glittery clay, I'll make a cone shape and create a length of white clay, add in some detail, and then just wrap that around. And just pull that together, and a little bobble. And with the assistance of some craft wire, I'll attach that to his head like so. That's looking pretty good. And as it's winter, I'll give him some little pink cheeks as well. You don't have to do this, it's entirely up to you. And lastly, I'll give him a little curly tail. So now my pug is all done and ready to be baked. And at this point, you'll need to refer to your own brand of polymer clay's baking instructions. So now would be the time that I'd show you the end results after the project's baked, but as I mentioned in my last video, because of the energy crisis and the cost of living crisis, I'm trying to be a bit more mindful about, you know, batching together projects really to bake. So yeah, he's going to be baked a bit later on. I'm going to link to a couple of other Christmas themed tutorials up here, but if you're not on desktop, I'll also link to the playlist below. So if you're really keen to make some further Christmas themed decorations, by all means go and check them out. And I'll be back really soon with another tutorial. I'd love to hear your suggestions for what you'd like to see me make, so by all means leave those below, and I'll see you next time.